1. George Washington, 1789–1797. He is the only president to ever lead an army into the field while in office. 2. John Adams, 1797–1801. He was the first president to live in the White House, moving in while it was still unfinished. 3. Thomas Jefferson, 1801–1809. He kept 2 grizzly bear cubs in a cage on the White House lawn. 4. James Madison, 1809–1817. Standing at 5'4" and weighing about 100 pounds, he was our smallest president. 5. James Monroe, 1817–1825. He died on July 4, making him the third of the first 5 presidents to die on Independence Day. 6. John Quincy Adams, 1825–1829. He used to go skinny dipping in the Potomac River every morning at 5 o'clock a.m. 7. Andrew Jackson, 1829–1837. He taught his pet parrot, Pole, how to curse like a sailor. 8. Martin Van Buren, 1837–1841. He was the first president actually born as a U.S. citizen. The previous ones were born as British subjects. 9. William Henry Harrison, 1841. He gave the longest inauguration speech in history, nearly 2 hours, in the freezing rain and died just 31 days later. 10. John Tyler, 1841–1845. He had 15 children, the most of any U.S. president. 11. James K. Polk, 1845–1849. He fulfilled every single one of his campaign promises in just one term and then chose not to run again. 12. Zachary Taylor, 1849–1850. He didn't vote in a single election including his own until he ran for president. 13. Millard Fillmore, 1850–1853. He refused an honorary degree from Oxford because he felt he hadn't earned it and couldn't read the Latin diploma. 14. Franklin Pierce, 1853–1857. He was the first president to install a central heating system in the White House. 15. James Buchanan, 1857–1861. He remains the only president to never marry. His niece served as First Lady. 16. Abraham Lincoln, 1861–1865. He was a licensed bartender and co-owned a saloon in Illinois. 17. Andrew Johnson, 1865–1869. He was a professional tailor before politics and continued to make his own suits in the White House. 18. Ulysses S. Grant, 1869–1877. He was once given a $20 speeding ticket for riding his horse too fast through Washington, D.C. 19. Rutherford B. Hayes, 1877–1881. He held the first ever Easter egg roll on the White House lawn. 20. James A. Garfield, 1881. He was ambidextrous and could write in Greek with one hand and Latin with the other at the same time. 21. Chester A. Arthur, 1881–1885. He was a massive fashionista and reportedly owned over 80 pairs of pants. 22. Grover Cleveland, 1885–1889. He is the only president to be married inside the White House. 23. Benjamin Harrison, 1889–1893. He was the first president to have electricity in the White House, but he was so terrified of being shocked that he refused to touch the light switches. 24. Grover Cleveland, 1893–1897. Our 22nd and 24th president. He is the first man to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. 25. William McKinley, 1897–1901. He always wore a red carnation on his lapel for good luck. 26. Theodore Roosevelt, 1901–1909. He was the first American to win a Nobel Peace Prize. 27. William Howard Taft, 1909–1913. He is the only person to serve as both President and Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. 28. Woodrow Wilson, 1913–1921. He was the first president to have a Ph.D. in political science. 29. Warren G. Harding, 1921–1923. He once lost a set of White House china in a high-stakes poker game. 30. Calvin Coolidge, 1923–1929. He had a pet pygmy hippo named Billy. 31. Herbert Hoover, 1929–1933. He and his wife spoke fluent Mandarin Chinese so they could talk privately in front of guests. 32. Franklin D. Roosevelt, 1933–1945. He was the first president to appear on television. 33. Harry S. Truman, 1945–1953. The S in his name doesn't actually stand for anything. His parents couldn't decide between his grandfather's names. 34. Dwight D. Eisenhower, 1953–1961. He was a massive fan of golf and installed a putting green on the White House lawn. 35. John F. Kennedy, 1961–1963. He donated his entire presidential salary to charity. 36. Lyndon B. Johnson, 1963–1969. He owned an amphibious car and used to scare guests by driving it into a lake while pretending the brakes had failed. 37. Richard Nixon, 1969–1974. He was a highly skilled pianist and once performed on the Jack Paar program. 38. Gerald Ford, 1974–1977. He worked as a fashion model for Cosmopolitan magazine in the 1940s. 39. Jimmy Carter, 1977–1981. He was the first president to be born in a hospital. 40. Ronald Reagan, 1981–1989. He used jelly beans to help him quit smoking pipes. 41. George H.W. Bush, 1989–1993. He inspired a Japanese word, bushusuru, which means to do the Bush thing, vomiting in public, after an illness at a state dinner. 42. Bill Clinton, 1993–2001. He is a two-time Grammy Award winner for Best Spoken Word Album. 43. George W. Bush, 2001–2009. He was the head cheerleader for his high school. 44. Barack Obama, 2009–2017. He is a huge fan of Spider-Man and Conan the Barbarian comics. 45. Donald Trump, 2017–2021. He was the first president to enter office without any prior military or government experience. 46. Joe Biden, 2021–2025. He was a high school football star and played both wide receiver and halfback. 47. Donald Trump, 2025–present. He joins Grover Cleveland as the only other president to serve non-consecutive terms.